Hello and welcome to Good or Bad. So Jaws. It was a pretty big hit. People loved it, and it was often regarded as the first summer blockbuster. So with that said, why couldn't it end there? Jaws 2, directed by Jono Schwark and released in 1978, was the first of the rapidly declining sequels. So let's not waste any time and sink our teeth into Jaws 2. After I apologise for that horrible pun. I'm sorry. So the film starts off at Nostalgia Avenue with two divers exploring the wreck of the Orca. You know, the boat from the first film. Shame on you. Wait, you might have known. Possibly shame on you. Hey Frank, you know, 'cause a giant shark sunk this boat, wouldn't it be terrible if another were to, you know, come along and eat us? Oh yeah, that would be terrible. Frank? Yeah? Something terrible is about to happen. It killed both divers? Really? One of the things I always loved about the first film was that while it didn't portray sharks realistically, the shark did at least kill one at a time, so it was easier to believe that it was just looking for food. But here it just killed two divers. It's not looking for food, it's more like a paid assassin. Ooh, Shark Mafia. That'd be cool. No, wait, Shark Tale already did it. Roy Scheider is back as Chief of Police Martin Brody, who is late for a grand opening event of a place that doesn't really matter and we will never see it ever again. All this section of the movie is used for as exposition. We meet various characters, so I'll just give you the quick run-through. Okay, so here we have Lorraine Gary as Ellen Brody, Martin's wife, Murray Hamilton as the mayor, Mark Gruner as Michael Brody, Martin's son, and Mark Gilpin as Sean Brody, Martin's youngest son. Okay, I think that's it for introductions now. Then we have Ann Dusenberry as Tina Wilcox and Joseph Mascolo as Len Peterson. Okay, are we done now? Oh, for the love of Larry Van Jr., played by David Elliott. Are we done now? Right, that's it. No more introductions. You've had enough introductions for the first 10 minutes of the movie. Everybody else is just a random person that may or may not get eaten by a shark. The next day, Brody is told about some cruiser that's alone in the middle of the ocean, which belonged to the divers that died at the start of the film. So he sends his deputy out to inspect it. Meanwhile, some kids go out sailing. Also, that guy's reading a copy of Jaws. Ha! Nice! High five movie. Movies can't high five, never mind. Please forget I ever did that, please. Moving on. The deputy reports back and tells Brody that he found a diver's camera in the search for the missing divers. But never mind about that. The shark wants dinner, but he just misses this guy, so he goes after a woman skiing instead. The shark gets her, then decides he wants dessert and goes after the girl's mother. I think. But she fights the shark off by covering herself in fuel and firing a flare gun, turning the shark into Scarface Shark. Also, I know it was through sheer panic, but isn't it a tad unfortunate that she picked up the two worst items to combine to fight this thing off? Whatever, she was dead anyway. Chief Brody talks to some people that witnessed the explosion, but only the explosion, meaning they don't know about the shark. And he tells his deputy to start dragging the ocean until he finds something, then stares out at the sea when a sudden feeling of deja vu hits him. While the deputy is dragging the ocean, they find something, and that something turns out to be a power cable, which they then drop and head on home. They find an orca washed up on the beach with a giant bite taken out of it. Brody thinks it's a shark, but the woman examining the bite tells him she can't say for sure what did it.
You don't think that if a shark was destroyed, that another shark could come in?
Sharks don't take things personally, Mr. Brody.
Brody then tells Michael that he can't go out sailing, and I bet that at no point in this movie will Michael go out sailing against his father's wishes, get attacked by a giant shark, and that's why I don't have any money because I make stupid bets like that. Brody tells the mayor that he thinks they have a shark problem, but the mayor does his usual routine and ignores him. On the way home, Brody notices something drifting in the water, so he makes his way over to it and discovers the burnt corpse of the woman that died earlier. This increases his suspicions that this is all the work of a shark, so he goes back to his office and laces his bullets with cyanide. Then he goes home, tells his son that he got him a painting job, and we move on to the following day at the beach, where Brody, much to everyone's dismay, is in the shark tower looking for, well, sharks. The clue is in the name. And naturally, he sees a dark shape moving through the water, so he sounds the alarm, takes his gun, and opens fire. But
it's just bluefish!
I do love the element of paranoia this movie has going, and I think if they pushed it even further, Brody would just have a complete mental breakdown. While he is wallowing in self-pity in his office, he gets a phone call saying those photos from the diver's camera have been developed. He takes the picture he believes is a shark round to the town's council, but they just think it's seaweed. And you know what? This is a great example of the paranoia that Brody is suffering with. I mean, yes, I know there really is a shark out there, but come on, he does seem pretty damn paranoid as well. Meanwhile, Michael is out at a club where his friends are arranging a little sailing trip for the following morning, which couldn't possibly go wrong at all. But oh no, Michael was grounded. What will he do?
Do you always do what your parents tell you to?
No.
What a shocker! He's willing to go against his father's wishes? My God, this film is breaking all kinds of boundaries. The now drunk former Chief Brody goes home after being fired and makes his former deputy the new Chief of Police. The next morning, Michael wakes up early to sneak out to go sailing, but his little brother Sean catches him and blackmails him to take him too. Well, I suppose they had to give the kids something to do. They all meet up at the dock and set off. And here we have some divers that are unfortunate enough to come across the shark. They survive and alert everyone to the fact that there's a shark out there. Brody asks the new chief what happened and he tells him it was a shark attack. And also that Michael is out sailing with his friends, so they all go out to bring them back. I was half expecting Brody to go, "See, I was right, there really was a shark out there. You all said I was mad, but I was right." Why does something always fall on me when I laugh? But the diver's warning wasn't soon enough to save this guy as the shark bumps into his boat and pulls him to the depths. There is one thing that I am a little curious about, and that is, why the hell haven't they noticed that Sean is gone? You know, their little kid. I mean, okay, yeah, they said he must be out playing, but they must have been out sailing for quite a while now, and they haven't noticed! Not one of them! That's just terrible parenting. Brody comes across Tina, who is left sobbing in fear in the boat. Ellen and the new chief take her in while Brody goes on to find the rest of them. You know how all the shark attacks in this movie are just predictable? I mean, the film builds them all up with the usual Jaws theme, so none of them surprise us. Like, how much of a shock would it be if the shark just attacked at this moment? You know, just randomly, for shock value. But now the shark attacks the sailing party, causing them all to crash into each other, and in the chaos Michael bangs his head and he is unconscious in the water. But they pull him in just in the nick of time. So most of the boats are immobile, but the one that isn't takes the unconscious Michael to get him to a doctor and send help. And as it happens, help was already on the way. The Coast Guard has found them. Thank God they're saved! Never mind. And after a while of knocking the boats around a bit and failing to get any of them, it finally chomps down on someone. And while the death is lacking in gore quite a bit, the actual way it was done, with the shark slowly rising up from the depths and then just biting down, was brilliant. I mean, this image right here rivals any of them in the first movie. While Brody continues to search for the sailing party, his wife is giving her boss a damn good telling off for ignoring her husband. While the kids are slowly drifting towards Hope, Brody comes across the boat that was running for help. Michael is now awake and tells him that Sean is out with them.
You wanted to come. It's okay, wasn't it?
What do you mean, it was okay, wasn't it? It wasn't okay. Let's review the facts, shall we? He knew his father didn't want him to go out sailing because he thought there was something dangerous out there. He specifically told him not to go out sailing. So, what does he do? He goes out sailing. But not only that, he brings his little brother with him. Yeah, he knew that his father thought there was something dangerous out there, and he brought his little brother along. So, now he has sailed away because he was unconscious, and his little brother is stuck out there with a shark, and he says that was okay, wasn't it? No, it wasn't. It's specifically not okay. Now, you might be thinking, well, maybe he's just feeling really bad about it and he wants his father to reassure him that he wouldn't blame him if anything happened, or wouldn't be just royally pissed off. Which, in that case, wouldn't it be better for him to have said, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean anything bad to happen. Please don't hate me." But no, he just says, it was okay, wasn't it? I don't know what the writers were going for there, but whatever he was, it's not okay. But whatever, his father says he doesn't blame him, and to go to wait at the lighthouse. Now that he knows exactly where they are, he goes off to get them. As they drift closer to safety, they decide to start paddling. But then they go, isn't there a giant shark around here? But it's okay because Brody is here. But the shark pops his head out of water to say hi, and causes him to crash into the small power station. He tries to pull them over with the winch, but it gets stuck when it hits the power cable, so he puts it in reverse. That power cable has been mentioned twice so far. I wonder if it could possibly play a part in the ending. The shark attacks again, causing almost everyone to fall into the water. They get away, but someone gets injured. Then the power cable has been pulled up completely by the winch, which gives Brody an idea. He lures the shark over to him while holding the power cable out in front of him, and the shark bites down onto it, which fries him to death. And somehow Brody doesn't even get singed. And I have to admit, that is one hell of an awesome way to kill a shark. But as awesome as it is, it doesn't beat this.
Smile, you son of a...
He takes Sean with him and leaves the rest on the power station to starve to death. Okay, he may have sent help when he got back to the island, but the movie never shows us that, so I'm going to go with starve to death. So Jaws 2. It certainly wasn't as good as the first movie, but it wasn't that bad either. Sure, it's a little rough around the edges in places, and the whole movie adds nothing to the series, and to be honest, the Jaws legacy would be better off if it never existed at all. But it's actually quite fun in places. The acting is not as good as the first film, except maybe for Roy Scheider, which is really the only redeeming feature about this movie.
And you better do something about this one, because I don't intend to go through that hell again!
Nothing against the rest of the cast, but everyone else just felt sidelined. Some people say they don't like Jaws 2 because it lacked the suspense that the first film had, and while that is completely true, you have to stop and think, if they had have done the suspense and the big build-up to seeing the shark at the end, would it have worked a second time around? Because we already saw it in the first movie, so I have to respect that they tried another approach for this movie, even if that approach didn't really work too well either. You could say one of the reasons this movie didn't do as well as the first was because Spielberg wasn't attached to it at all. But the whole concept of shark killing people until the shark is killed doesn't seem to be one that can be repeated with as much success, so I don't think that even Spielberg could have made a Jaws sequel that was as good as the original. So with that said, my final verdict is, Jaws 2 certainly isn't good, but it certainly isn't bad.
It's okay, wasn't it?
Yes, it was okay. Jaws 2 is just okay. See you next time.